Mr. Chairman and committee members, thank you for the opportunity to speak today on behalf of Senate Bill 589 and 590, which would give the children of Missouri the legal footing needed to fight back against predators and step out of the silent shadows of victimization. My name is Deborah Perkins. Presently, I live in Raymore, Missouri. International Christian leader Mike Bickle began grooming me at the age of 12. Like Tammy Woods, I came from a loving and a beautiful family with a wonderful father, mother, and family system. However, it was no match for a sophisticated predator and renowned Christian figure. He groomed my entire family to trust him and view him as a hero, which led me to move to Kansas City to join his church. From roughly age 19 to 23, I endured a dark, secret life of sexual abuse that involved my own pastor taking my faith and twisting it and confusing it, belittling and degrading lies that held me in a prison of torment and shame. He said God had told him that his wife would die and that we would be married. He used the same lie on Tammy Woods and countless other victims. He used Bible verses to tell me that this was my destiny. He coerced me into sexual activity and varying versions of intercourse. He then made me pray and repent for it. He gave me alcohol when I was too young to drink and took advantage of me physically while I was under the influence, only to later come up with spiritual language for all that had occurred. He rented an apartment for me. He began to isolate me for his own sexual purposes and conditioned me to be more pliable for the abuse by compelling me to fast 3 days a week in order to be more radical for God, like the early Christians. He then told me he would help me sleep better by providing me wine to drink, and he gave me sleeping pills. I don't know all that happened while I was under those influences. He controlled every bit of my diet, relationships, time, and told me I was living like the early Christian monks in a radical way for God, while all of it was intended to weaken me, isolate me, and further my compliance as his sexual victim. I lived a secret horror that no one knew about while protecting him with my silence because I believed it all. I thought somehow his work for God was more important than what I was enduring. The principle of an NDA was used on me without the legal papers, in that he kept me silent for the sake of shielding his ministry and church. I felt I had no choice. He used coded language to keep holding me under his influence even after the abuse stopped. He dominated every part of my life, grooming my friends with extra attention and bonding so that they wouldn't notice all that was going on. After years of the physical abuse, I got enough out of his grip and I found the courage to move on. I met the wonderful man who is now my husband, yet while I dated him, I had profound feelings of conflict, wondering if I was violating my faith, if God wanted to wait for my pastor God wanted me to wait for my pastor as his intended wife. I can't describe to the committee today how deeply dark these webs of entrapment truly are. This so-called Christian pastor was using cult tactics and spiritual language in his sexual abuse, which is the reason it took so long for me to unravel it all and understand the nature of what had happened. More than 20 years ago, 20 years after my abuse, I heard the story of one of Bill Cosby's victims, and I suddenly realized the nature of what I had experienced. I knew for the first time that it wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault. I fell to my kitchen floor and I wailed. I knew for the first time it wasn't my fault. I had been confronting the evil, controlling system that Mike Bickle created for years. But now I realize this 42-year-old predator assaulted me as an innocent 19-year-old, and none of it was my fault. I began the process of confronting him, but at the helm of his organization, he fought back, taking to his pulpit and using it to discredit and bully me. Right now, he has all the power. Because of the present laws, I and many abuse victims in Missouri have none. Mr. Chairman, committee members, without amending the laws in Missouri, nothing can be done to stop these types of predators who whose abuse is sophisticated enough to require many years to disentangle. It took me over 20 years to understand that it wasn't my fault. We must give the children of Missouri as much time as they need. It is my belief that the legal provision of the statute of limitations that were intended to provide clarity of evidence actually deny child victims of sexual abuse a voice, as it often takes us too many years to gain that clarity. As someone whose life has been devastated by this harm, it seems a small kindness to ask, Mr. Chairman, committee members, please give us, the victims of Missouri, more time to find our voices. Thank you.